Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, as I stand in the living area of the Emmaus Place, our priest retirement home, I am happy to share with you the theme for our 2023 God's Share Appeal, Living the Gospel, Being Eucharistic Disciples. This year's theme fits perfectly with the National Eucharistic Revival to regain a deeper appreciation of the source and summit of our lives, Jesus Christ and His real presence in the Most Holy Eucharist. Through the God's Share Appeal, you support evangelization, communications, and religious education so that our next generation may know and love Christ and continue to seek Him in the Eucharist.
The longest-running program for the youth in our diocese is the Search program. For over 50 years, it has been making an important and lasting impact on the lives of our young people.
Search in the Bismarck Diocese started in 1970. It was a branch off of other Search programs throughout the nation. Search is a nationwide program that was developed as a youth component of the Cursillo movement. Our version came from a few people in Galva, North Dakota back in 1969 and 1968 who experienced the Search down in South Dakota. They loved it and they said, we want to bring it to our home. And that's what they did. They brought it to their home and it took root in our diocese and it's been flourishing and growing ever since.
Search teaches us to be so much different from what the world tells us to be. So one thing that I really like about Search is we come here, we give up our phone, we give up all our belongings, and we give our lives to Christ. We feel Christ with us all weekend long.
It's created such an amazing community of young Catholics throughout North Dakota. It's given us an opportunity for us to build each other up together. It's a peer-led weekend. Every weekend is led by young people for young people. That's what Search is all about. And so it's an opportunity for us to take leadership in our own faith, where we wouldn't have that back home in a lot of cases.
I go to church a lot, like with my grandparents and with my mom and dad and, people who are older than me, but it's really nice to be on fire for God with people who are my age as well.
It's so consoling to know that there's so many young people who are on fire for their faiths in North Dakota, because sometimes you don't really see that, but at Search you see that.
To put on a weekend like this, it's a pretty penny, and it takes a lot of funds. It takes a lot of people. The diocese have been more than generous in providing an opportunity financially for this to happen. The kids do pay a fee to be here, but it does not cover half of what it takes to run the program. So they help us financially greatly in making it a true ministry of the diocese.
Search is such an amazing opportunity for young people to build their faith for themselves. And I think if you're a parent who wants your kid to create a faith that is their own and to find independence in their faith, Search is such an amazing tool for that. It's such a safe environment, and there have been so many kids this becomes like a second home, and it's just such a safe and loving environment. And I think any parent who wants their kid to grow in their faith, they should absolutely send them to Search so that the child can explore what the Catholic faith has. It's just, there's so much to see.
Without what the diocese does for the program, this would not exist. And it's been a blessing that the diocese has supported this for a half a century.
Last year, your gifts to the God Share Appeal helped educate and form all our seminarians, including the 5 seminarians ordained to the priesthood on June 13th. The Vocations Office budget is over $785,000 and is the largest office budget in the diocese. For a small diocese like ours, we have been abundantly blessed with the number of young men studying in the seminary. On average, it costs about $35,000 per year of formation for each seminarian. We invited our 5 newest priests to share their seminary experience and what your support means to them.
It's meant to be hard. That seminary is meant to give you all sorts of these types of experiences throughout the summer, throughout the school year, academically, but just all facets of formation. I remember Bishop Kagan at one of our seminarian gatherings, he kind of gathered us gathered us all up in the living room and just talked to us as a father about what seminary is supposed to be about and how it's supposed to be rigorous, because the life of the priest is supposed to be rigorously about the salvation of souls. That's the life that we're called to. And what the God Share Appeal goes to is to provide all of those facets for us. Like that, it's actually for the sake of being a father. Fatherhood is not easy, especially in this day and age, as everyone kind of knows. And so to have a rigorous experience, it's what Bishop Kagan, speaking to us as a father in seminary, told us, that seminary is supposed to be rigorous in that way, to form us as fathers for the people that we're called to serve.
Seminary is expensive, so for a lot of people, a lot of young guys, you would, at least for me, it's like I would never have gone to the school that I was sent to for purely financial reasons. Like it wouldn't even have crossed my mind. And so the fact that people are so generous with the God Share Appeal, it allows that to not have to be a stumbling block to joining the seminary for a guy who's thinking about it. It's like, is God calling you or not? That's the question we're answering, not can you afford it or not, because the people have provided that for us. So just to have the freedom to go, not based on financial obstacles, I think has paid a lot of dividends in the diocese.
Sometimes it's really hard to articulate exactly, right, how that money is being, how it's like directly involved in the formation. The best way I can describe it is this: is that when a man gives himself to the church, to the formation system, you definitely have this sense of dependence on the church, and you have this sense that the church is providing for you and she's nourishing you. And it just gives you this space where you don't have to worry about a lot of those practical details, and that it can just give your heart space to open yourself fully up to God and to grow. So if you imagine putting in a seed, right, it's giving the space, it's giving the rich soil, it's giving the sunshine necessary for it to grow. And the effects of that is going to ripple throughout not just our lives as a priest, but it's going to ripple out in the diocese and all of church history. And so it's something that you can't calculate. It's a long-term investment in all of these spiritual goods that are hidden in a lot of different ways.
Thank you so much to all who are supporting the God Share Appeal. And I obviously know it's such a sacrifice. You know, it's a sacrifice to support others, but we are called into, it's just a beautiful witness to us that you are sacrificing for your priests, in order that we want to sacrifice for you as well, by laying our lives down each and every day for you to provide the sacraments, but also our daily prayers to be present to you. So you're giving us a good witness of that sacrifice, this commitment to supporting vocations, just as we want to be committed to you.
I remember a couple weeks into my priesthood getting called to the hospital in the middle of the night and thinking to myself, this isn't part of a normal 9 to 5 salary job. And then it hit me how often in my life, especially during my time in seminary, people have given freely of their own resources for the formation of me as a priest. And I thought, what a beautiful opportunity now that I get to give back and give freely, because I know I've been so freely given to. And so as a priest now, every time something's asked of me, my answer is yes, I want to do that, because I've been taught how to be generous by the people of this diocese.
These are just a few of the many educational, pastoral, and religious programs and services your gift to the God Share Appeal supports. You have always been very generous with your prayers and financial support for me as your bishop. Last year was no exception, as we raised over $3,710,000, the most we have ever raised. Our 66th annual God Share Appeal is now upon us. As Christian stewards, we know that every gift and blessing we have received is a gift from God. As baptized Catholics, One way we show our appreciation for God's blessings in our lives is by sharing those gifts and talents with others. You play a very important and necessary role in our diocesan family. Once again, I humbly ask for your prayers and financial support for this year's God's Share Appeal. Please know that I have already increased my gift for this year, so I invite you to prayerfully consider increasing your gift from last year if possible. Thank you again for the many ways you support the Diocese of Bismarck. Your support is deeply appreciated. May God bless each of you and your families.